Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Yeah, it is hump day, and I can almost taste the weekend. But before we get to that weekend, we need to get to today's news. So, shall we? I haven't looked at the school bus fiasco in a few weeks, and I guess I thought it might get better with the county executive saying that the retention and signing bonuses would solve the situation. I peeked yesterday, and it hasn't. Yikes. Last I looked, there were 29 routes that were canceled, so, as it was in the past, you want to make sure you check aacps.org/buses for the latest info on the bus that may or may not show up at your bus stop. All right, let's talk politics. District 7 County Councilwoman Jessica Haire made it official. She is running for county executive next year, hoping to knock current county executive Stuart Pittman out of office. This now officially sets up a two-way, at this point, primary race between her and Herb McMillan. I say at this point because there are still rumors circulating that both Delegate Sid Saab and County Councilman Nathan Volke are interested in the job as well. Any way you look at it, it's going to be an interesting year. And we do have the final results of the Annapolis city elections, and for the first time since the 1950s, the council will be controlled 100% by one party. The Democrats swept all 8 aldermanic races and the mayor's race. The results are up at eyeonannapolis.net, and you can check them out. And it really still blows my mind that in a city of 38,000 people, 421 votes can win an aldermanic election, and 900 will all but assure it. To recap, Ward 1, Ellie Tierney. Ward 2, Karma O'Neill. Ward 3, Rhonda Pindell Charles. Ward 4, Sheila Finlayson. Ward 5, Brooke Shandelmeyer. Ward 6, Dewan Gay. Ward 7, Rob Savage. Ward 8, Ross Arnett. And Gavin Buckley prevailed for mayor. We also hear that recently retired alderman Fred Paone is considering a run for the House of Delegates. And former Ward 5 alderman Jared Lippman is likely going to be running for mayor in the next election. Ah, the intrigue of politics. Speaking of Annapolis, remember that at the end of this month, the city is giving away free parking. 2 hours free at the metered spots downtown with a bonus hour if you use the app and use the code PARKDTA when you pay for it. There's not going to be a charge, but you've got to pretend like you're paying. That kicks off on Friday, November 26th, and does run through New Year's Day. For those of you that appreciate the Eastern Shore as I do, the Tidewater Inn in Easton is hosting the Brew and Oyster Brawl on November 13th. It is a full open beer and open wine bar with a fully open oyster bar with oysters and tons of oyster dishes prepared any way you like them. Live music and a whole lot of fun. It runs from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and tickets and info is available at tidewaterin.com/Brew Oyster Brawl. And as we start to wrap it up, go Maryland. Wallet Hub did a study and found that Maryland ranks number 2 for the most charitable state in the country. We're number 1 in the percentage of people that donated money, 4th in the volunteer hours per capita, and 10th in the percentage of donated income. So yeah, go us. And if you're looking to donate, a personal plea from me here, give to the Annapolis Maritime Museum and Park. They got absolutely hammered with the flooding at the end of October. They're quickly trying to rebuild to be able to be open again. And to be honest with you, a membership to the museum makes a great gift for yourself, for a couple, for a family member, or even a kid. You can do all that and check it out at amaritime.org and check out some of the pictures of the flooding and what they're dealing with too. And up this weekend on the Local Business Spotlight, I hung out at Red Bean on Main Street, and we were actually outside, so it's a little bit noisy, and chatted with Tim Coe of a brand new insurance agency in town, Goosehead Insurance. Up the following week, Jonathan Rondeau from the Arc of Greater Chesapeake. All right, that is it for the news. But first, a quick thank you to our sponsors for today's Daily News Brief: Solar Energy Services, the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long & Buster Company, and the Hospice of the Chesapeake. A quick reminder to please leave us a rating or a review if you have a chance. We'd really appreciate it. So now you need to hang tight. We've got George Young from DCMDVA Weather standing by with your locally forecast weather report. And since you never know when you might need an attorney, we have Scott MacMullan from Scott MacMullan Law here today with some of his periodic legal insights for you. All of that coming up in just a bit.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt of the Kristi Neidhardt Team from Northrop Realty, a Long & Foster Company.
One of the most common questions we get: how do I maximize the value of my home before I sell it? It's a great question. We look at improvements like investments. What is the rate of return? For example, if we invest $5,000 in painting kitchen cabinets and installing granite, how much more will our home sell for? The answer? About $25,000 more. That's a 500% return on investment. Because of returns like this, we have started a program called Investing in You. We know cash is often tight when you're making a move, and we are here to help. We will front you up to $15,000 to invest in refreshing your home before you list it, with the agreement to be paid back once your home settles. Call us today so we can help you maximize your home's value.
That's another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt. To get in touch, call 410-599-1370 or visit kn-team.com. That's kn-team.com.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, November 10th. Yesterday brought another great weather day to the Annapolis region with more sun in 60s, and today and tomorrow we'll provide more of the same before a cold front Friday delivers a bit of rain. Expect plenty of sun today and Thursday with highs each day again in the 63 to 70 degree range before a cold front brings showers and possibly some storms from Friday a.m. into the p.m. hours before clearing out in time for most, if not all, of the weekend with highs Saturday around 60 before cooler air moves in Sunday with highs in the low to mid 50s. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe. And, of course, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download our app on all of your devices by searching DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores so you can always stay weather informed.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services, with your Clean Energy Minute. Does your home experience power outages? Or maybe you're concerned about energy resilience in general? If so, that's another great reason to consider clean, quiet solar-powered energy with battery backup. You may have heard residential solar adoption has rapidly increased during the pandemic for multiple reasons, and many homeowners like yourself are adding battery backup and electric vehicle charging to their solar projects. And with Maryland's residential energy storage income tax credit, along with the federal tax credit for batteries when paired with solar, the economics are quite compelling, and that secure feeling is even better. So whether you're looking for clean energy, energy resilience, or overall peace of mind with solar energy, we can help. To schedule a free solar design, call us today at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net. But hurry, sunshine's a-wasting.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You never know when you might need an attorney. It could be when the lights light up on the police car behind you. Or maybe you have $1 million idea and need to incorporate. From wills and trusts to car wrecks and arrests, Scott MacMullan with the Annapolis-based Scott MacMullan Law, LLC, is here to offer some insight for you with today's Legal Brief.
This is Scott MacMullan, and this is your Legal Brief. As this holiday season approaches, many people start to think about their loved ones and their futures, and their loved ones' futures, and you think about your own estate when you think about that stuff. Ambrose Pierce once said, "Death is not the end, there remains the litigation over the estate." And also famous person once said, there's three things we're certain in life. You're born, you die, and you pay taxes. Well, the death part is one of those things you should think about during the holiday season, and some people do think about. Estate plan, in fact, is an important and everlasting gift that you can give to a loved one. And it might seem like a daunting task, but here's a short task list to go over and to consider. And here are some of the important documents when you're planning your estate. The will, of course. The will is the most important planning document, and for many, it is their cornerstone of your estate plan. When you create a will, you essentially outline assets that are going to be distributed according to your will, and your beneficiaries are the individuals who will receive those assets. When you die without a will, it is called intestate, and this is something that could cause your family some issues down the road. A trust. The second document, there are a wide variety of trusts available to individuals in Maryland. For the beneficiaries of the trust, you want to be able to maximize their inheritance and move them through probate as quickly as possible. Power of attorneys. Power of attorneys are critical documents that essentially allow someone to appoint a trusted individual to make certain key life decisions on their behalf should they ever become incapacitated. Circumstance of a car accident or someone gets too old and has dementia. This is much quicker and cleaner than having to get a guardianship, which leads me to another thing, the guardianship. If you pass away, and it's not incapacitation, you're passed away, it's important for parents to have a guardian appointed in their will, and this is something to consider and to think through with your attorney. And it is important to contact an attorney and think about this. I hope you are well. I hope you and your family are safe, and happy holidays. Do not put your loved ones in the awkward and pain-in-the-butt circumstances of having died without a will. This is something that you can prevent. It's a little uncomfy, but if you're organized about it, it'll be done with, and then you don't have to worry about it. This has been sponsored by Scott MacMullan Law at 104 Cathedral Street in Annapolis. If you have legal questions, call 443-494-9775. This is information and not intended as advice. You should contact an attorney regarding your individual circumstance. We invite you to contact Scott MacMullan Law, LLCs. Please do not send confidential information until such time the attorney-client relationship has been established. Thank you for listening to the Scott MacMullan Law Legal Brief.
Coping with advanced illness can be overwhelming, and determining the best options for a loved one isn't always so easy. But here at Hospice of the Chesapeake, your hometown hospice, we want you to know you do have a choice. You can choose exactly who provides the care and the type of care you receive, and it's your decision when and where your loved one receives that care. We have served our community, family, and friends for over 40 years. We are there when you need us. Learn how we can help at hospicechesapeake.org.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.